Please remember to keep checking out the links down in the description. Just because we're not hearing any new news about any of the links and the situations around those links that are happening, like currently, doesn't mean we need to ignore them. It's been a year since the George Floyd protests, and that last summer was horribly traumatizing to Black people and other Black people of color. We just had Asian American Heritage Month last month. And this country is having a surge of Asian hate crimes that are happening, like hate crimes against Asian people that are happening. And just because you're not hearing any news about what happened in Palestine and what is continuing to happen in Palestine doesn't mean it's not happening anymore. So please keep checking out those links down in the description, and whatever you can do, whether it's spreading information or donating, any of that is helpful. So please, please, please be checking those out. Hello Friendzies, welcome back to my channel. I don't have orange eyebrows on. I really, really wanted to because I wore my fruitiest shirt. This is new. It's from Torrid. Oh, we got a loose thread on the bra. This is my new shirt, and it's my fruitiest shirt because this is a gay-themed video. I feel like every year I do at least one during Pride because I am part of the Alphabet Mafia. Hello, hi, I'm bisexual if you didn't know. Also, I put my fucking iced coffee in the quirkiest container I have, which is my fucking little mason jar. I don't know what that intro was, but hi, hello, I am bisexual if you didn't know. Last year's video was about Pride and mostly focused on what was happening during last summer, which were the George Floyd protests. And the year before that was just talking about different things I've noticed as part of the LGBTQ+ community as a bisexual woman. So this year, I want to talk about something else, and you already know what it is by the title of the video, but I wanna talk about that because I feel like that's a thing that needs to be talked about by bisexual people and not other members of the community, because there's a lot of biphobia within the community as well as outside of the community, but a lot of biphobia in the community, and I'm not here for that. So let's have this conversation. Now I've been out since I was between 12, 13. That sounds right. I don't think I came out earlier than that, but I've been out since I was about 12 or 13. And I'm not going to give you the whole long story unless you want to go watch the video from 2 or 3 years ago. But I came out to my mom in like the dumbest way possible. It was in the middle of the argument because I was just trying to get the attention off me to not get grounded. But yeah, I came out to my mom like that, and it's never been an issue in my family. I personally have not had to deal with a lot of biphobia, but how the aspect of me questioning my sexuality has come up was, I believe it was last year at the beginning of the global panini. I was at work one day, and just whatever I was doing, I don't think I was paying attention, and I like choked on the gum I had in my mouth, and I like started coughing so hard that I felt like I was gonna throw up. Like, and it was that awful, like, afterwards, it was like that like acidy feeling in my mouth that's like really uncomfortable. So I went to get water, whatever. But for some reason, that reminded me that the 2 times that I have kissed cishet boys, well, I say cishet, as far as I know, they were cishet at the time, and they still are now. Who knows? I don't know. Hey, if both of you know who you are. If you're not anymore, hey, reach out to me. Tell me your pronouns. But the 2 times I have kissed cishet boys, the first time I kissed a cishet boy, I was very uncomfortable and couldn't like get it out of my head. Like I thought about it all day, and I was so uncomfortable and ended up throwing up later that day. And the second time I kissed a cishet boy, I was really anxious. Like, I think I was like genuinely having an anxiety attack when I kissed him. And every time I wanted to kiss him, like there had been a time before that where I had wanted to kiss him, and I almost did, and had like kind of an anxiety attack because for the rest of the night I was like very uncomfortable. So yeah, and I have kissed my best friend Steven, who is a homosexual himself. He is gay. He was my first kiss, and that was like fine. I was like a little nervous, but I feel like it was the normal, like, this is my first kiss nervous. I feel like that was like first kiss nervous and not like anxiety and like being horrifically uncomfortable. So there's that. And I have had flirtations with cis women and some non-binary peeps and some trans peeps, and it's never been that discomfort. the boy that I dated senior year of high school, I've talked about this before, there were a lot of different elements to it, but I was always very, like, anxious around him, essentially, and he was the one that when I kissed him, I was like, borderline anxiety attack, if not an actual anxiety attack. But then a year or two after him, I met somebody at my job, which this is my little tidbit. Listen to the elder gay. Do not date people that you work with or have flirtations that you work with. It never ends well. There was this kid that I had a date with that I worked with. We went on a date and it felt very easy. I was so comfortable. I was so at ease. And it was very nice. And he was very extremely smooth on that date. Obviously that didn't work out. Whatever. My flirtations that I've had with cis women, perfectly comfortable with. Like, we've always vibed and it's been very comfortable. The couple non-binary people that I've had flirtations with, very comfortable. And also, it's been specifically the cis-het men that I have had issues with. And that happened at work. That, you know, that brought my brain to that thought. So then I've been thinking about that a lot, on and off. It's kind of like always in the back of my mind. Because I think about it a lot, and it makes me question my sexuality, because I've known I was bi for forever, and I like came out, like I said, when I was like 12 or 13, but I always kind of knew what I was attracted to and who I was attracted to. I didn't necessarily have language for it, but growing up on the internet kind of, you know, provides language. Finally had language for it, came out, whatever. And now, speaking of growing up on the internet, especially with the global panini and everything, I am on TikTok. I've talked about this before, and next week's video, I think, if it's, you know, the right way I'm thinking of it in my planner, is going to be TikTok related. But being on TikTok, I am, what sides of TikTok I'm on, I'm watching a lot of, like, young people and even older people, like people my age, but mostly younger people, go through, like, levels of self-discovery, because we were, the situation of what the panini is like we're all trapped inside our, like, supposed to be in our homes, and with that comes kind of distance from outside influences in any way, shape, or form that it is. Obviously, we're getting news and social media and everything like that, but there is outdoor influences that we were really cut off from during the panini. So a lot of young people on TikTok, and like I said, some older people, but a lot of young people on TikTok have gone through waves of self-discovery where, I mean, like, the meme has been like, you go into the panini and come out with a completely different gender identity, which is a thing. And I think it's really cool that a lot of these young people are finding out, like, now, instead of when they're older and then feeling like they missed out, kind of, on, like, knowing who they were when they were younger. But between that and between, like, my personal thoughts and everything, I've been thinking about whether or not I might be a lesbian instead of bisexual. But then, over this past winter, and I don't know where it came from, like, I've always thought Chris Evans was attractive, but during this past winter, you can ask any of my friends, I have been uncomfortably horny for Chris Evans lately. Sebastian Stan and Anthony Mackie as well, but Chris Evans, for some reason, I have been uncomfortably horny. I'm so happy that my friends are, like, supportive and very sex positive and as horny as I am, because some of the messages I have sent are vulgar about, like, a picture of him in a plain t-shirt. Like, uncomfortably horny for Chris Evans. But as a bisexual person, and, like, because I feel very proud of, like, who I am and my sexuality, and just because biphobia hasn't directly happened to me, like, I've never personally experienced it, it doesn't mean that when I see biphobia, like, on the internet or, like, happening to other people, that I don't get, like, really upset and defensive about it, because it's garbage. And American culture and American society doesn't believe, like, I don't know about other cultures, I'm not going to speak for other cultures, I'm speaking for the country I live in. American society and American culture, like, does not believe in bisexuality. If you are a bisexual woman, like, you're basically just straight, because a lot of bisexual women do end up in relationships with cis-het men. That's just, like, it is a thing, like, that is a common thing that happens, just because the gay communities, for whatever reason, it just doesn't, like, biphobia in the gay community. For whatever reason, that's what happens a lot. And bisexual men people are just like, oh, well, you're basically just gay. And that's not how it works. I'm not half and half. I'm my own little thing. And bisexual does mean 2 or more genders. And yes, I know if any other Alphabet Mafia members want to come in here with the discourse, I know that bi and pan, definitionally, that's not a word, but I know by definition, bi and pan are like basically the same thing. But personally, I think the bi flag is prettier. So, but yeah, I think my flag is the prettiest, personally. So anyway, it's not really like between the biphobia from straight people and the biphobia from within the Alphabet Mafia and just like the way American culture and American society views bisexuality. I like not defensive, but I feel like I kind of like, I hold on to it. I hold on to it tight because I am proud of who I am and I've never had an issue with it. I've always been interested in pretty much all the genders as long as you look sexy. I have a thing for like jawlines, nice teeth, and nice hair. And honestly, if you got any of those, doesn't really fucking matter what else is going on. I'm into you. Probably into you, so. And then like, again, being on TikTok, because there are a lot of like people my age on TikTok as well who talk about different things. A lot of being on TikTok as well has been like a lot of conversation that people have had in it, whether it's like turned into kind of like a discourse situation where like somebody has to turn off their comments, or it's an open conversation. There has been a lot of conversation about, as a bisexual, are you questioning your sexuality or do you just feel like you have to? Because I am very like, fuck men, I hate men, like I'm gonna fight them all, like I hate men, men are garbage. Absolutely. But that is very much in a American society and American culturally influenced way. I don't hate men. I don't hate men. I hate how society conditions them. Society and culture conditions them to act and to treat other people. Toxic masculinity is what I hate. And unfortunately, 9 out of 10 of the men in this world, even in my own life, are very influenced by toxic masculinity, whether they know that or not. And I'm very unforgiving of toxic masculinity because my thing is the best form of apology is changed action. And I think that should be true for whatever the situation is. Nobody is required to accept your apology. But I've said this in another video, if you do something wrong in any way, shape, or form, doesn't matter what the situation is, if you do something wrong, you apologize and you mean it. You apologize and you mean it. If that person doesn't forgive you, that is their prerogative. That is their choice to make. You don't get to decide if somebody forgives you. But then what you do is you go forward in life and you change your actions. You never make that mistake again. That's how I view that. And toxic masculinity doesn't believe in anything like that. Toxic masculinity thinks, like the whole idea of toxic masculinity really centers around the man being correct in every way, shape, or form, and everybody else is wrong. And when anybody else wrongs you or harms you or upsets you, you have a right to do whatever heinous, horrible thing or say whatever heinous, horrible thing you want to make that person sorry for upsetting you. That's my problem with men. That's when I'm sitting here being like, oh, I hate all men. If you take offense to that, then good. If that's upsetting to you, good. If you hear me say I hate all men and you go, yeah, I feel that, you understand what I mean. So that's what I'm pointing at. So that's just it. As a bisexual woman, I walk around saying I hate all men, but I don't. I just hate how culturally in society they're influenced and how they think is acceptable to act. And I don't love the idea of women and non-binary, trans people, whatever, kind of having to handhold cishet men and be like, okay, well, we're gonna unlearn all the toxic masculinity. But unfortunately, there's nothing set up for cishet men to unlearn toxic masculinity. So unfortunately, we kind of have to be their teachers, which bothers me and annoys me, but I'd rather kind of teach men to not be shitty people than have to deal with shitty people. So, the whole point of this was kind of, I feel like I'm going in a lot of different directions, so I hope this makes sense. But I just wanted to say that me questioning whether or not I am legitimately bisexual or perhaps a lesbian is always kind of in the back of my mind, because once that thought was brought up, every once in a while I do think about it. But I don't put too much stock into it because it's not causing any problems. I'm out here vibing. I'm not in a relationship currently, so it doesn't affect any relationships I'm in. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have to inform a partner that I'm not sure if I'm attracted to them anymore because of, you know, the change in my sexuality. And at the same time, labels aren't super important. I know when you're younger, especially when you're a young teenager, because this is exactly how I felt. I know because when you're a teenager, you're going through puberty and it's like the entire world is genuinely out to get you. The entire world does not like teenagers. Everybody is a teenager at one point in their life and nobody seems to like teenagers, and it's really upsetting because teenagers are just out here trying their fucking best. Can we give them a break? Teenage girls especially, you cannot like a single thing without everybody shitting on it, and it's such a bummer. Like, any teenager, if you're like, oh yeah, I'm on TikTok and I like to play Minecraft, people will shit on you for so much, and it's dumb. I don't like it. I don't like how the world treats teenagers, because I don't like how I was treated as a teenager by, like, the general public. But I think when you're a teenager, it is kind of important to, if you want to, like, have labels for your sexuality, for your gender, whatever, I think it's important that if you want it and it's important to you, not just teenagers in this sense, but everybody, but mainly teenagers. If you want to have a label for your sexuality and that's important to you, do it. Have a label, you know? Go through whatever you need to go through, figure out what you're attracted to, and put your label on. It doesn't matter to me. Like I said, I'm very proud of being bisexual. I like my label personally, but I do also refer to myself as gay and queer all of the time. And maybe if I find that bisexual doesn't exactly fit me anymore, maybe I will just refer to myself as queer. For, like, as, like, official, I guess. But I just refer to myself as gay and queer all the time anyway. But like I said, labels are not super important. If you find that they are super important to you, that is totally fine. That's valid. I don't personally think they're super important, but I do hold on to the label of bisexuality. It's very important to me. And I care about it. And like I said, my flag is really pretty. Oh, it's all twisted. My flag's really pretty, and I like it, and I like to have it in my life, and I like to identify with it because this is what I'm comfortable with, you know? But yeah, that thought's always going to be in the back of my head, but I'm not putting a lot of stock into it. I'm not really overthinking it. I'm kind of just vibing and living my life, which is what you should do as well. But if you do feel like you're questioning, and for whatever reason that's like confusing or upsetting to you, whether you're questioning for the first time ever, or you're questioning, you've been out trans and pansexual for most of your life, but suddenly you're thinking or realizing that those labels don't fit you anymore, go ahead, do some research. Reach out to people, have a conversation. It's not gonna hurt, I promise. As long as you're safe to do so, make sure that you're, you know, taking care of yourself and doing the research and asking the questions. But yeah, before I go on and on and on and on, which I think I already have, I'm gonna end this video here, throw my hair up, go get an ice cream because it is so hot. And this video is good because usually I drink my coffee way too fast because yes, I am a homosexual. So this video has been good to have my coffee with because I've been taking small sips so my tummy does not feel sick. Thank you guys so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next video. Bye! It is homophobic for June to be this hot and uncomfortable.